Hi everyone, welcome to lecture 65. In this video, we'll see that how can we create a function. It means we're not creating a function, we can just perform the same functionality using lambda expression, and this lambda expression is also known as an anonymous function. So let us see how this works. So let's get started with the video. So here, let us create a function first which calculates the pressure. Let's see, I have given, or I have all the data in my field units. So if I define a function, let's say it is pressure, and it takes the formula for calculating pressure in field units is nothing but 0.052 into rho into h, right? So I'll take the input rho and h, so I'll write rho and h here, and what it will do is it will return me the value that is 0.052 into rho into h, right? Now if I call my function pressure, and my rho value is, let's say, 10.1, and my h means that is depth, h stands for depth. My depth, let's say, is around 3,500 feet, and the 10.1 is nothing but in ppg, mud weight in ppg. So if I go there, you see it gives me the pressure of 1838.2, that is this much psi. I can also print a statement here. You can use the pressure is much psi. If I run it again, so it will print me a statement that the pressure is 1838.2 psi. Great. You know that this is how a function works. This is how we can create a function. But now let us achieve the same results using lambda function. So first of all, lambda is not a function, lambda expression. It is an expression. So whenever we use lambda expression to perform any functionality, we need not to create any function, we need not to define a function name. So we'll eliminate this step if we create a lambda expression, if we use lambda expression. So what is the syntax of lambda expression is that you just write lambda, and you just write the arguments there. You don't write arguments inside this bracket, but just because to separate this lambda and arguments, I have shown in it this way. And then after the colon, you just write whatever the results you want the function to return. So in this example, my lambda statement, lambda done. Now my arguments, so my arguments are rho and h, right? Rho and h. Now the colon, and after the colon what you write is whatever you want to achieve the result. So you write 0.052 into rho into h. Just store this in any variable. Let's store in the variable press. Okay, so now if I run my press, and now inside the press you give your arguments, that is say 10.1 and what was it, 3500, you'll get the same results. You see 1838.2 psi. So this is how a lambda expression works. In a one line code, you have written a whole functionality of a function without even defining the name of function. You can also do string formatting here as well. If you want to do that, the pressure is much psi. So if I run it again, I'll get the same results. So the pressure is 1838.2 psi. This is how a lambda expression work. Now let us do one thing. I'll do one thing. If I print my function name was pressure, right? Here, this was my function name, right? This was my function name. So if I print pressure, and in next line if I say, just to separate it out, and if I print my variable which stores the lambda expression, right? So this is the variable which stores the lambda expression, and this is my function name. If I print this, let's see what it is showing me. So it shows me for this statement, for this code, it gives me that function pressure at location. This is the location where it is located in Python, right? And for this code, this is that print press, that is my name of a variable which stores the lambda expression. This shows me that a function lambda, so it is not showing me any function name, it is just showing me that a lambda expression has been used to generate the result here. Great. Now let us take another example. We want to create a function which, when one porosity value is given, that function will convert that fractional value into the percent value. So if I have to do it using creating a function, what I can do is define, let's say fract, and let's say it takes a porosity, and this porosity I need to convert in percent. So what I'll simply do is return a into 100, right? So if I call my function with porosity 0.24, it will give me 24. Great. Now if I do the same thing using a lambda expression, what you have to do is lambda, you write the now arguments, whatever arguments you need to use. I'll just have one argument here, that is my porosity. What you want to achieve the result is a, that is porosity into 100. Simple. This is my whole code. I'll just store it in a variable called fract new, let's say. Okay, now if I run fract new, and inside that I'll give my this a, my a is, let's again say 0.24, it is also returning 24. So this is how you create a lambda expression. Now okay, we have already done an example of creating a function which gives us the flow rate using Darcy's law. I don't remember the video's name, but I'll put the link in the video in the description. What we was doing, that I have taken the example, I think 4.8 of Tariq Ahmed, and in that I have to create a function named flow rate, which gives me the final flow rate in centimeter cube per second when all the data, that is permeability, area, viscosity, pressure differential and length, was given. We created a function. So what I want you to do is, you just do this example, you solve this same example using a lambda expression. It is a very simple thing, it is a very simple assignment for you, but I can give you the solution, but I won't. So try it by yourself. Okay, now see what's now you see that these till now what we have done is, we have created lambda expression when normal statements were there, no if and else was there. So how to approach lambda expression when if and else statements are there? So let's say we create a very simple function which takes a porosity in fraction again, and this time what we do, if we enter a porosity less than 0.5, it will print, okay, it is a realistic porosity value, and otherwise it will print unrealistic value. So if I have to define a function like that, I'll take for now my function name, it takes a porosity value, let's say it's a. Now what I have to do is, if my this a is less than 0.5, what I'll print is realistic porosity value, right? Now otherwise means, if it prints any value that is equal to 0.5 or greater than 0.5, what I'll do is, else I'll print unrealistic porosity value. So I'll write un here. So now if I run this function por, let's say I this time write 0.1, it will give me the realistic porosity value. If I do 0.49, it will give me realistic porosity value, but as soon as I touch 0.5, it will give me unrealistic, right? So this is we can create a function. Now this works, it works this way. Now we create a same results, we generate the same results using lambda expression. What we can do is, you simply write lambda, you simply write the arguments which you use. So this time only one argument, that is porosity, and what we want is see, you have done the list comprehension and dictionary comprehension. So whatever the format was there in list comprehension, similar format will be there. So what we'll do is, first to write the result, right? So you write this realistic porosity value if a is less than 5, else you will write unrealistic value. and just store it in anything, any variable. Let's say this time my variable is pour underscore new, and now if I run this pour underscore new, and there will take 0.1, you see I'm getting the realistic porosity value. If I write 0.7, I will get unrealistic porosity value. Sorry, if a 0.7, okay, there's some problem here. I was putting here 5, I'll have to put 0.5, right? I'm sleepy, that's why I'm making so much mistakes, I'm sorry. Great. So this is how you can create the results, same results using lambda expressions. So now I have a practice question for you. I'll give you the solution as well in this video only. What I have to do is, if I give a list to my lambda expression, now this time I am giving a list as an argument. It returns me the list which contains reverse strings if length of the, okay, this is so confusing, I'll do the solution right away. Let us do it by long method first. What I want to do is, let's say I have a function name func, that is 3. It takes any list A. Okay, now what I want is, in this list, this list contains strings, all the elements are strings. If the length of the strings are less than 5, what I want to do is, I want to reverse those strings. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll create, now I have to get a list as an output, so I'll create an empty list first here. So my empty list will be, let's say rev, it is my empty list, and if my length of, sorry, I'll have to run a for loop first. For I in A, that is I am running a loop inside my list, and then if this length of I, if statement, if this length of I is less than what I do, 5, what I'll do is, I'll append in this list, what I'll append the reverse of that those strings. So how do we write the reverse? You simply write this -1. I have told you this in previous videos. Great. Now just exit the if block, exit the for loop. Now we are inside the function. Now what the function returns is, it returns me the rev. Okay, so now this is, I have defined a function. So now let's say my list is list 1, it contains few elements. Let's say this is, okay, then it contains petroleum, it contains scratch, it contains hay, it also contains 242. This is a string, I have included that in a single quote, and I have another string, say 4 5 6 7 8 9, like that, anything. Okay, so now if I call the function, that is function 3, in that function 3 contains a list, so my list is list underscore 1, and if I generate the output, so you can see what it is doing. It is all the strings, those have length less than 5, it means it has length 2, right? It has length 3, right? It has also length 3. All other elements are greater than 5, so length is greater than 5. So it is just returning me a list in which all the elements have been reversed, in which string lengths of the strings are less than 5. Great. This was a long method. Now let's do it by lambda expression. So what you do is lambda, what you write is here A, that is your list. What you want is that, now this time you want a list, right? So I have already, now I have created a list. I will write that in a list. Here will I write just a list comprehension, that you go for I, reverse I, so this will reverse I, for I in A, because A is my list, I'm running loop in my A. If, what is the condition? If the length of I is less than 5, right? Store it in a variable, sorry, I've run it already. Store it in a variable, let's say my func, not func, just let's say abc. This is a variable abc. Now if I call this abc and I just put my list here, let's see if we get the same result. Yes, we are getting the same result. Okay, you might be thinking that this 242 is not getting reversed, but 242 reverse will be 242. I'll just change it to 442, so it will give you better clarity. Okay, right, so this is working correctly. One more thing you can do is, now this is this I have written a code only for reversing the strings which have length less than 5, but I don't, now what I want to I have a thought in my mind that I just don't want to eliminate all other elements. I'll just want them to keep as it is. So what you can do is, you can simply I have just given a condition of here, if length is just append those elements and reverse them, but here you can add here else you just append the value same as it is. So reverse, so append just I. Now I do this, if I do this, and now if I call this, so now you see all other elements which have greater than 5 length are as it is, and all that below the length 5 has been reversed. So in this, now if we have to do the same thing in this lambda expression, how will we do that? We will simply use the same methodology. Now this time, let's say I store this in xyz. I'll create lambda, and this takes my list A, and what it does is it returns me a list. So empty list comes here. Now I have if and else, right? So you must remember, you might be remembering that in the case of list comprehension there was a different syntax for writing only if you have only if statement and not else statement, and a different kind of syntax when you have else statements. So how do you write when you both have if and else statements? You just write the result here I, because it will be reversing if my length of I is less than 5, else. Now here I write what that will be, else I'll simply write I where for loop for I in A. Now if I call xyz and my list is list underscore 1, you see we are getting the same results as of this one. So this is how you make use of a lambda expression. So that is it for today's video, guys, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you for joining.